All right, check, check. Mic check, video check. Are we live? Hello, hello. It is 7:32 a.m. I was almost on time, a couple minutes late, but we're getting going. We're going to do a special giveaway later in the stream if we meet some viewership goals. So we'll see how that goes. And I am just going to go ahead and get the entire setup here all squared away. And there we go. There we go. All right, I think that's good. All right, let's go ahead and get into our upcoming check here for the 8 o'clock hour. Yesterday, we missed a good short on platinum, broke my heart. And that was because I didn't get to the stream early enough. We got to be nice and in time to do the check for the 8 a.m. hourly close. So yesterday, I'm going to show you here. This was platinum yesterday. This was the 8 a.m. hourly close here. Beautiful resistance pocket pattern to short there. But because we started the stream a little bit later, we missed that trade. That was kind of the one good one I liked for yesterday. Now, if you haven't had a chance to catch the pre-market forecast, basically what I'm looking for today, we've got something really, really interesting potentially setting up here. And you can see this is the monthly, weekly, daily chart for the E-mini S&P 500. And what you can see here on the daily is we had a really big move to the upside yesterday. And we're at this key 4780 level. If this is an exhaust into all this weekly resistance up here, then there could be some longs off sides today, just like there were shorts off sides yesterday, and we could reverse this entire move back to the downside. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but we do have some cross flows here. We've got daily breaking resistance, and we've got the weekly so far holding resistance. So you've got a little bit of a tug of war there between daily resistance breaking and weekly resistance holding. And we're going to need more information today to see who's going to win this battle. If the daily is going to continue to head up, or are we going to reverse that move back to the downside? Really, for me, the key level today is the true average here at 4780. So this is what we're going to be looking for on the ES. If that level holds, then the bullish picture temporarily stays intact for the daily. But if 4780 on the ES starts to break and we hold below that level, then I think it's going to be game on looking for shorts. So that's what I'm looking for on ES today. For NQ, go ahead and load that here. NQ, similar, true average is at 16,700. So that's the key level right there that I'm looking for. If that starts to break, then we're going to look to play the short side underneath that level. And yesterday, bonds were not buying what stocks were selling. In other words, stocks were rallying on the hope of lower rates, but the bond market was not in agreement. That the bond market moves inversely to rates. So when the bonds are dropping, rates are rising, right? Well, the stock market yesterday was betting on stocks. They were going higher because rates supposedly are going to start coming down. That's what everybody thinks, right? Well, if that's going to happen, this bond chart will start heading up. If rates are going to be going down, that'll help the stock market. But right now, the bonds are not moving to the upside. They're continuing to the downside, meaning rates are staying elevated, which means that probably is going to continue to weigh on the stock market. But there can be a breakdown in the correlation for a period of days or weeks sometimes. So we'll just have to see what stocks do today in regards to those critical levels we're watching. And more importantly, keep an eye on the bond market here. Everything is driven by the debt market. It pretty much drives all the other flows. So that's really important. So I will be looking to play the short side on bonds today. See what we got on the hourly chart here in just a moment. That's the 30-year bond we're looking at, the daily chart here. Just giving you guys kind of a recap of the daily forecast. Gold is a little unclear today. Silver still looks pretty good from the short side. Crude got absolutely hammered yesterday. So we can see here on crude hammered. But what we did is we went straight back down to this key OMA support level in this pocket, right down into the live weekly pocket down here. And you've got a really nice monthly support level that we've been talking about as well over here. So I think crude is going to be bullish today. And if crude is going to be bullish today, that could potentially help the stock market. We'll see. So crude, I will be looking at from the long side. If we get any good opportunities to go long on crude oil. I think that was just a little bit of a flush there yesterday. And of course, all the other markets, the agriculturals, the currencies, Bitcoin, we'll be keeping an eye on those as well. Let's quickly look at the euro US dollar here. You see the dollar's not really buying what stocks are selling either, right? The dollar tried to rally here yesterday, couldn't even get outside the envelope top, and now we're already rolling back over. So if the dollar starts breaking lower today with bonds, the rallies in stocks are most likely going to be capped. And so we'll be keeping a close eye. This is why you've got to use all these markets together, especially when you're day trading, because that's what's going to give you the best setups is when they're all in alignment, when they're all in agreement. That's very important. All right, so let's go ahead now and turn our attention back to the hourly charts that we use for day trading. And we'll go ahead and run it over here. We want to be prepared, making sure, checking my console over here, making sure you guys can see. You got the video. Yeah, you guys can see everything there, which is good. We're still playing around for the right format here, but we'll get there. All right, so let's go ahead. Stocks, sometimes we can get a good move at 8 a.m., but really, unless there's news, they kind of don't get going till 9 or 10. So pre-market here, we're mostly interested in bonds. They get going around 8 a.m. Gold, silver, platinum, copper. Those are the good trades at 8 a.m. Crude oil, natural gas, sometimes, the FX futures. So those are the ones we watch. And then the stocks get going, of course, right around the normal stock market open. So let's go ahead. We'll quickly here just look at ES on the hourly chart, even though we're probably not going to trade it here at 8 a.m. And yeah, you can see we are trending down, but we exhausted here on the hourly right into, get that over here. We exhausted right into the weekly true average. Sorry, the daily true average right here, 47.80. So that's the key level we need to watch. I'm not really interested in stocks unless that level there starts to break because of that daily true average, which is below these two hourly lows here. So that's what we're going to have to keep an eye on. And again, the volume profile and all that stuff, I don't even look at that until I'm ready to take a trade. So that's very important as well. If you try and use only the volume profile to take trades, I think you're going to end up in an insane asylum because it's constantly moving and shifting. And, how would you know what's going on, right? You've got to use volume profile to confirm whatever edge you're using. I use it to confirm Owings market analysis. You can use it to confirm whatever it is that you use. But I use the volume profile only when I see everything else lining up. I want to take a trade. Then I look at the volume profile to fine tune it. It's very important. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the bond market. We don't need to look at stocks right now. They're not in our area of interest. Let's look at the 30-year. This is the 30-year Treasury bond. We are getting a little bit of a pop here. Question is, are we going to be, for me, I think it would need to pop a little higher up, closer to yesterday's close. Up in here somewhere is kind of where I'm interested. So probably won't take this, because if you're in the value area here like we are, I don't want to really be shorting against that point of control right there, right? So I'm not going to be trading bonds most likely here at the 8 o'clock close in about 20 minutes. Go ahead and look at the ultra bonds. Same thing as the 30-year. So it would really have to start to push higher. Got quite a few extensions in here, so we'll watch this level carefully. I mean, bonds definitely look weak for sure. You've got a nice daily pullback pocket pattern here into about 130 even for the ultras. That's kind of my key level up there. Again, I like to look for really, really good trades, stay patient, and I want the patterns on the hourly chart here to match up to not only the volume profile, but also to, the daily zones that are key. So if I want to go short, let's say the ultra bonds here, then I'm going to want price to be up into what I perceive to be the daily resistance zone, right? And for me, right now, that's about 130, which you can also see is the value area high up in here, right? So does that mean I want to short the value area low? No. So we let the market come to us. That's really how you got to do it. All right, let's go ahead now and jump over to gold. Metals can be interesting at 8 a.m. Get some water. My water here in just a moment. So gold is, you know, not that clear today. So just have to wait and see how gold develops. Let's go ahead and look at the hourly silver chart. Tight congestion, not giving us a whole lot right here for the upcoming 8 o'clock hourly close in 18 minutes. You never know what's going to happen. Could move. We got to cycle through all these markets because that is how we missed that beautiful short in platinum yesterday. That would have been a nice win. Probably, you know, I don't know, another grand 1500. So that would have been nice. All right, here is Dr. Copper. And you know, you can see copper's in a downtrend. I am bearish on copper right now. I think it's, you know, pretty much going to lead us lower as the yield curve uninverts, which is when the recessions start typically. You know, inverted yield curve signals, hey, recession on the way. When they uninvert, that's when the recession is actually starting. So I think that's where we are. Dr. Copper, I think, is going to suffer from that. And the charts are bearish as well. So the question is, you know, do we want to get short copper at 8 o'clock? Because we do this hour by hour. Well, no, same reason as I wouldn't want to short silver because we're down near the value area low. I don't get short near the value area low. It's just a matter of principle. Sure, it might break out to the downside, but I prefer to wait for my setup. So, you know, guys, it takes one really good trade each day. Really, it takes one or two good trades a week. And if you pick them right and put on a little bit of size, you got plenty of money from that. So you don't need to rush. You don't need to get FOMO. You don't need to, you know, be in the market all the time. Just wait and get paid for waiting. And then when you put on your trades, let them go. Some will win, some will lose. But if you're selective and you're picky and you've got a good methodology with an edge, you'll make money. You know, that's the goal. All right, let's look at platinum. And platinum here, also looking quite bearish across the board. But again, I'm going to need a pullback. We're breaking through the value area low here, which is nice, but not just going to chase this down here. Let's look at crude because crude looks quite bullish today. Look at this beautiful trend run up on the hourly chart for crude. You can see we're moving the volume point of control higher. Very nice. Again, I'm bullish crude today, just like I've been bullish for the week. I said I'm going to be looking to see how the daily pulls back and how it handles it. Boom. There's your daily pullback right here, right into the weekly, monthly support levels. Beautiful. That's why this is rallying here. And I think this is going to be a good day for crude oil. Let's see. We've also got a lot of tension in the Middle East at some point. All that is going to probably ignite crude to the upside. All right, so with that said, with crude, I'm going to be waiting for a pullback, which we don't have yet. Look, guys, I wait for the pullback. If I'm going to get long, I want to get long in support. If I want to get short, I want to get short in resistance. And I try not to worry about anything else in between because if it's, you know, trending to the upside, I don't get FOMO because I think it's going up for the day and I got to get in. I let the market develop and let it come to me. That's really what it's all about. All right, let's go ahead and look at natural gas. Get some water here. Nat gas looking nice and bullish with crude oil. Again, just wait for a pullback here. Daily is just firing to the upside here on natural gas. Trending up here, a little bit of a pullback. But I don't know, daily support's more down here. So we'll wait on that. The euro. Not interested in that for the 8 o'clock hour. Looking at the pound. I don't typically trade the FX market unless I'm really desperate, just because you get such a better move when you catch something like platinum or gold or silver or crude. If you're right on those trades, they can actually move, whereas the FX futures, they're a little slow. They kind of sit there. Even bonds, you know, move better than the FX futures, especially the ultra bond. Okay, so you can see the pound is, you know, trending to the downside here, meaning the dollar is getting stronger against the pound. And the question is, do we want to short this pullback here? Nah, we're trending, it's true, but we're still inside the value area low. And the daily and weekly charts right now for the currencies are not clear. So I'm going to probably steer clear of the currencies. They're really just kind of a mess. See, this is important as well. When you're looking for good trades on the hourly, what I do is I want clarity on the daily and the weekly charts, because there are enough trades. If you just wait, you'll get that clarity. And those are the ones you want to take. It doesn't mean you're going to be right every time. It just means that when you have the clarity, that's when you want to take the trade. So why would I want to force an hourly trade here when the daily and the weekly aren't that clear? The answer is I don't. All right. So probably not going to mess with any of the currencies right now. So that pretty much completes the check. I feel good about it. Not going to do anything for the 8 o'clock hour, but at least we're here in time now, and we wouldn't have missed that platinum trade from yesterday today. And that's the goal, to be here every day in time so we don't miss these 8 o'clock hourly checks. And again, I'm just going to look at, I think the closest thing to a trade that I saw for the 8 a.m. would be the bonds, would be the ultra bond. Got to keep an eye on this. So I'll keep it up just in case. You know, you never know. If we got a big punch up here, you can see, you know, kind of a low volume area up here toward the upper end of the value area. I'm bearish on bonds today. So if we got a big punch here heading into the 8 o'clock close in 12 minutes, now maybe I'd be interested in shorting that exhaust. But other than that, if nothing develops, we'll wait till the 9 a.m. hourly close. That's the way we do it. All right, guys, that's the foundation. We've got it all set. We're ready for the day. I'm going to go ahead and just go grab some water. So I'll be right back, and we'll keep the stream rocking. We'll do the giveaway if we reach our viewership goals. And if we don't, then we'll keep offering the giveaway until we reach the viewership goals day after day. That's all we can do, one step at a time. All right, I'm going to pause the mic, go get some water, and I'll be back in a few minutes, you guys. All right, we got the water going. Got to stay hydrated. And we'll just take it bar by bar today, guys. That's all we can do. Just checking my setup here. How does everything look? I think it looks pretty good. You guys can see what's going on. Important thing. I'll figure out where to put the camera, but I think for now, kind of being in the middle of the screen, I think it's all right. You guys can see what's going on the screen. So I'm just gonna silently take a look at what's going on. I got to download something over here. Give me a second. What's nice about trading the hourlies, guys, you have so much time to plan your trades and think through everything and look at the intermarket correlations. I mean, way less stressful than anything else. All right, here I'm just gonna download. I gotta download. I'm putting out a clip for the giveaway, so I gotta download that here in a moment. We will download. Cool. Then, if I can access my channel while we're live, that'd be interesting to see if we can upload a video while we're live. Let's check it out. Go here. Let's see. This is. You guys, I can't see the chat right now because I'm working on this real quick. here and load that. Select. File. All right, there. Second here. Good. Public. Set the exact time for this to go live. Edit this. Looking for how I set a video. I'll have to figure this out at another time. A second here, guys. We already did our analysis. If you haven't, I'm not going to repeat stuff too much, so you can push the live stream back to the beginning where I started, and you can see me going over all the charts, so you see what we're looking for right now. We're waiting for the 8 o'clock hourly close in about 6 minutes, and the only thing really on the menu potentially for this 8 a.m. hourly close is potentially to short ultra bonds, which we're looking at here, the hourly ultra bonds chart, but it would have to push up higher toward the upper end of the value area. So I've got it open. Probably won't be a trade here at 8 a.m., but we'll see. All right, so let's just figure this. And while I'm waiting for the trade here, I'm figuring something out on YouTube because I'm technologically retarded, but slowly getting better, which is good. Oops, I used a very not politically correct word. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that on YouTube. I guess I'll learn as I go. Technologically challenged. That's what I should say. Okay. So I guess that is up there. Video I uploaded is up. See, ultra bonds are trying to push a little higher. Doing their best. Oh, I see. It's going to be under. Guys, I'm just talking to myself here. Give me a minute. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Big deal. And let's. Oh, cool. Okay, back to the trading. I think I got all that squared away. You guys just wouldn't believe it when you're streaming, especially when you're trading. You got money on the line. You've got like 15 different charts open on 3 different screens. You've got depth of market open where you're placing the trades. I've got the YouTube software going. It's like, I have to get the brain processing up to speed here for all this stuff. And then I'm trying to upload a YouTube video. Fun stuff, but I do enjoy it. All right. Oh, and the OBS streaming software as well, because that is hooking up to the YouTube streaming software. It's pretty cool, but it's you know, just takes some time to get used to. All right, so taking a look here at the ultra bonds. The question would be, do I want to short ultra bonds here? The answer is no, not yet. Now look, it might, let's make sure you guys can see all this good stuff. I think you can if I have it over here, right? The ultra bonds might close here and then reverse back down, and then we say, oh geez, we missed a short. Well, that's not the way I look at it. Even though I'm bearish bonds for today, it would have to get up into an area where I'm willing to short, which maybe the 9 o'clock hour would give us a double bar exhaust, you know, up into an extension up near the value area high, which is right at our daily resistance level at 130. These are the types of trades that I'm content to wait for, where everything matches up. I'm getting a nice pattern to go short or long. I like what I'm seeing on the hourly chart. I like what I'm seeing on the volume profile. And most importantly, we're in a good daily resistance or support zone, depending on whether I'm going short or long. And then I want the daily and the weekly charts to be clear as well. We don't want to trade markets that aren't clear, because that's how you lose money and lose confidence and, you know, go sit in your room and cry, which we don't want to do. That's not very fun. So that's why I'm picky and I wait for the best setups. You know, this channel is, you know, we're here to have a little bit of fun, but first and foremost, we're here to trade and make money. And, you know, we can banter and have fun in between our hourly checks. But the most important thing is that we maintain our focus and wait for the best setups, right? That's absolutely key. It's not about the quantity of the trades you take. It's about the quality of the trades you take. All right, so we're coming upon the 8 a.m. hourly close here. What time is it? It is... I love how Microsoft Windows just likes to rearrange all your windows. It's 25 seconds until this hourly close. So probably not going to do anything here on this hourly close for the reasons I just mentioned. Stock index futures, we're waiting. I covered this in the beginning of the video, so please, you know, rewind the live stream and go see what I had to say about those. We've got a game plan for today. We're waiting. Here's the E-mini S&P 500. You can see just quickly this key daily support level here. I always do support in blue. It's right at the true average. 47.80 is where the hourly exhausted into at the end of London there at 6 a.m. That key level there needs to break. We need to get below that level and stay below that level. Then I will be looking for game on to short the indices. Otherwise, I am staying out of this because we have cross currents between the weekly and daily charts. The daily chart is breaking resistance, could be a false break, but we're in a bunch of weekly resistance. So we got a tug of war right now between weekly resistance holding and daily resistance breaking. Ultimately, I think the weekly resistance is going to push hard enough down on the daily resistance that we're going to break and head to the downside. But I'm waiting for the confirmation first before we get below 47.80 on ES, and that exact number on NQ, the NASDAQ. You can see the true average there, 16,700. So similar situation here on the NASDAQ. That's what we're looking for. And the Russell and the Dow certainly look weaker. So, you know, you can see the Dow is already below its true average. That's a good sign. The NASDAQ and the S&P might follow. Had a, you know, decent little pullback. You're trending down here on the Dow hourly chart. A little bit of a pullback here to the point of control so far for the day. And, you know, would I want to short this? No, because we're right at the point of control and we're right at the middle of the moving average envelope on the daily. This could still hold support and push us higher. I don't want to get involved on this until we're really rocking and rolling one way or the other. I know that my bias continues to be to the short side because of what I'm seeing across all the higher time periods, but now I need to let price action confirm that for me, right? Let's look at the Russell. I mean, the Russell is the weakest of all of them. I keep saying that. You had a really nice move. I'm just looking at the, yeah. So yesterday, all the Russell did yesterday was punch up to the upper end of last week's value area. I think the Russell is going to be a whipping boy for this week. I'm excited to be shorting the Russell. I mean, if this thing really starts to break today, let's say, you know, for the Russell, especially below 1970, I mean, we could see a pretty good move to the downside. So That's why I'm just content to wait. If we pop on the Russell, you know, for any reason back up in here toward the upper end of the value area high, I'll be thrilled to get short up in there. But now that we're kind of getting the trend run started, same reason for the Dow where I'm not going to trade in here is because we're right in the middle of the value area. And that's not where I'm taking action on a trend, especially on a day like this where I'm waiting for a little bit more clarity. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Let's go ahead and look at some Bitcoin. Everybody's excited about Bitcoin. Here's the Bitcoin daily chart, Bitcoin hourly chart, kind of a mess. You can see we had a nice little pump yesterday on the daily chart for Bitcoin. But really all we did was go to the value area high of last week. So, you know, nothing major. You're putting in, so far, you put in quite a lot of volume up here on Bitcoin at 47,000. And it's yet to determine if that's buying or selling volume. Right now, the price is dropping on that volume, which tells us that, you know, the rallies are being capped. But the Bitcoin charts are pretty unclear, just like the currency charts. So that's why we will do, when I see a good pattern on Bitcoin, we will trade it. But it needs to be clear like everything else. And right now it's not. Crude is the one I'm really liking, the bullish side of crude today. So just wait for a good pullback. But for the same reason, we're not going to short the indices right now because they're near the value area low. We're not going to go long crude because it's near the value area high. I hope that makes sense for you guys. Doing one last little check here. Make sure we didn't miss anything for 8 a.m. No, everything's waiting. We don't have any major news coming out today. So we'll see what happens. So ultra bonds, you know, this little pop here could cause price to drop. But again, just not in my area. So I've got to wait until it's really in an area where I want to take advantage. Just a 30-year, nice little pop, a little bit of a drop. Okay, so now we're just going to patiently wait. Here's the Russell dropping nicely. We're going to patiently wait now till the 9 o'clock hourly close. And I'm just going to go and do a couple things upstairs. It's 8:04 a.m. Eastern. And at this point, we're just kind of, you know, waiting for the trades to come to us like we always do. Patience gets rewarded, especially in trading. Super duper important. So I'm just going to mute the mic. I'm still here. I'm just going to go grab something upstairs real quick while we're waiting. And I'll be right back. The charts are here for your viewing pleasure. We're looking at the Russell 2000 right now. All right, guys, we got some lemon water. And like I said, if we get to 20 viewers with 20 likes, we'll go ahead and give away a very heavy duty trading course, $1,500 value. And yeah, I learned from the best, and I put all of it and more into the course. I don't even know if I'm going to sell the course publicly at some point. Maybe not, but I'll definitely give away copies when warranted. Right now we're celebrating 50 subscribers to the channel, which is cool. And the word about the stream will get out there. It'll just take a little bit of time. I've watched a lot of live streams out there on YouTube, and a lot of it is a big waste of time. So in this live stream, we're actually going to trade and make money together. Of course, it's for educational purposes only, so take only trades on money you can afford to lose. But I trade my own account, and I think you guys will get a lot of benefit from watching that. Doesn't mean that every trade is a winner, certainly, absolutely not. But it does mean that over time, got a really good edge here with Owings market analysis, matching it up with a volume profile. And as you can see, being very patient and waiting for the market to come to us. That's what it's all about. I see a lot of bad habits out there on YouTube. You know, people just, I don't know, treating trading like a hobby, like it's a game. And that's okay. I get it. I used to do that too. It takes a while to get humbled and really learn what this is all about. If you've got any questions, post them in the chat. If you want to see a specific market, we have time to look at different markets right now. We're just kind of waiting for things to develop. It's about 10 a.m. Eastern, so we're not going to be putting on any trades until our next hourly check. The one that we were interested in for 8 a.m. was, you know, ultra bonds. Decent little short pattern here. But again, the reason I didn't short it is because we're not up near the value area high. So just not a good place volume-wise to take action here. All right, I'm here. I'm going to do some admin stuff while we're waiting. So if you got any questions, let me know. As I got to check something over here on my other screen. Get all these investor newsletters. Good morning, investors. So much bullshit out there. Unbelievable. Go ahead and check the calendar again. Well, we do have the Canadian balance of trade at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. How about we check the balance of trade? I can't do my Canadian accent to all you lovely Canadians out there. All I can say is a boat. But I suppose that's not very funny for the Canadians. But it's pretty funny for me, to be honest. We got the Canadian balance of trade 8:30. We got the US balance of trade 8:30 as well. Not much else going on today. The flag, that is the Colombian unemployment. All right. So you'll see the bond market opens at 8:20 a.m. Eastern. Really, that's the old pit hours, the old floor hours. So you'll see a little bit of volatility coming into bonds. And look, this is important because if bonds start heading down, as I think they look like they probably will, according to the higher time period charts, then that means rates are going up, which means stocks are not going to like that, which means what? We're probably going to have some good opportunities to short at least the Russell and the Dow today. And then maybe the NASDAQ and the S&P if they break those key levels. 16,700 is what we got to break for the NASDAQ and stay below that level. And 4,780 is what we need to break. Sorry, yeah, 4,780 for the S&P 500. You can see over here. So that's why keeping an eye on all these intermarket correlations is super important. Gold is a mess. Silver, tight range, messy. Copper, I'm bearish on, but kind of a mess right now. Platinum, bearish on as well, just kind of steadily trending down. And crude, bullish on today, but need to wait for a pullback. Just a beautiful daily pattern here on OMA. pulling right back to that 71 level. This is what I talked about at the beginning of the week. I said, we're going to wait and see if crude pulls back to 71 and how it responds to that level. That'll tell us if we're going to be off to the races to the upside, because the monthly chart right now for crude is very bullish. I'm looking at it on my other screen over here. And the weekly is just consolidating down here between 71 and 74, $75 a barrel. So with all the tension in the Middle East and everything else, I think we are going to push higher with crude, and the charts are telling us that. Now, if crude snaps below 70, that's going to be huge, because it's got everything going for it right now. It's got a strong monthly support pattern. You've got, you know, huge problems in the Middle East. If crude can't start rallying big time off of all these problems and, you know, really good support chart patterns, then that means it is bearish AF. You guys know what I mean? You're gonna have to keep an eye on that. But the $70 to $71 area is still just key. As long as that continues to hold and we start to see some movement to the upside that can sustain itself, then I think crude has a potential to be off to the races, at least for this month, the rest of the month. All right, so we're up to speed on the calendar here. And I have a support email ticket out to one of my web hosting companies, and they're usually very fast in getting back to me. Today they're not. You have a comment, YouTube, that we can respond to together. Go ahead and check that out. YouTube doesn't really notify me about comments very well. It's pretty interesting. No, strange. Over here, I'm in the YouTube dashboard on the other screens here, and we're gonna see if that comment here YouTube's just kind of like a whole new world. A lot to learn. I don't know. Any new? Okay. So guys, this is the exciting life of day trading. When you tend to do it after a while, it's no longer, I mean, it's very fun and interesting, but it's not exciting. In fact, if it's exciting, there's probably something you're doing wrong. It's not really supposed to be exciting. It's supposed to be, you know, you're just kind of, it's fun, it's a challenge, and honestly, it can be, I don't get bored by it because I like it, but it can be boring for the average person because you're just waiting for the market to come to you. So a lot of it is just waiting, waiting, waiting. And that's what you get paid to do. That's why you get paid, because so few people can just sit around and wait for the setup to come. That's important. Check something out here. I'm just taking care of some other stuff, guys, on my other screen. Good. The silence is nice, isn't it? I love the silence. Yes, yeah. So we're gonna see how it reacts to this key level. Here. Yeah, I'm working on the site. We're getting there. We still have some stuff to do. If I end up, I had to turn it back on to give away the course. Andreas, by the way, if you're listening, you will be able to use your login again to the site. So that is rocking and rolling. And as you too, if you're listening, your login that I gave you way back when should work here. Hopefully you guys can see this here. I know I'm kind of in the way, but I'm propagating the domain now. So soon you'll just be able to go to owingstrading.com. But for now, you can go to this address, Kajabi. Anyways, what I'm going to be giving away here is access to the full trading course. Go check out everything here. Site, pretty cool. I like it. But the full trading course, which is this here. So if I ever sell it, that will be the starting price. But I'm going to give away, that actual package here if we hit our viewership goals, and then we'll continue to give stuff away too while we build the channel. It'll be fun, help some people out. But this is some good stuff. I learned from the best, and I put it all into my course. I can't say who I learned it from because there are copyright issues, but the real deal. Anyways, that's what we're talking about, which is cool. I still have a bit more to do here, but overall I like the feel of it. I will have swing trading. We're going to do the only money back guaranteed swing trading signal service available. So that'll be nice once I'm ready to launch that. Basically, I'm going to give nightly swing trading signals, and if we're not profitable after the month, then you get your money back. I don't think anybody else is offering that because everybody else is offering shit signals. We're not. So that'll be fun. All good things in due time. Anyways, that's the site. Okay, so 820, the bond market has just opened. Let's see what that initial liquidity is like. Yeah, ultra bonds pushing lower. Are we kicking ourselves? We should have gone short here. I mean, if you guys are super aggressive, you can see I'm calling stuff out. I'll let you know when I specifically take my trades and what I wait for. I just, even if I like a pattern like this pullback right here, this was definitely a good short pattern, but given where we are, we're kind of consolidating in this daily support area here, and I don't go short into support, right? That's why I'm picky about where I take these trades, and what that means is you end up watching a lot of trades go by, and you look at this and go, oh my goodness, I could have made some money. Yeah, but you can't look at it that way. You have to wait for the ones that really conform to your edge, your methodology, and give you the best opportunity for consistent success over the long term. And, it's not about any one trade or any one day, but if you do the right thing day after day, that's when you can start to see some success. And one of the hardest things for me to learn as a trader and hopefully this will help you guys out, is that if you're in too much of a hurry to get there, you're never going to get there. So you just got to slow down. You got to breathe. You got to, learn what you got to learn. But then once you have an edge, you have a system that works, you've got to just stay patient and wait for your trades. And then just know that if you keep following your plan, assuming you have an edge that works, you're going to make progress and you're going to make money. And before you know it, you'll be in a good position financially in your life, all that good stuff. But you're not going to get there if you're in a rush and you're just taking, 50-50 trades all the time, because trading is far too difficult. It doesn't allow you to make money consistently by gambling. And you might make money consistently for a few months by gambling, but it's not an edge that's going to last over time. It's not going to be something that you can count on, for years and years to come, right? So just keep that in mind. It's important. And I think this takes, you have to be trading for many years to really understand this. It's just kind of the way it works. I mean, in the beginning, even the first couple of years, you think that, I don't know, you have a few winners, you pick a few trades right, and it takes a while to get humbled and realize just how challenging it is to make money consistently over the long run. That takes a long time to get that mindset. And I think it's just sort of like a rite of passage. Most people fall out of this game if they blow their accounts up too soon. Obviously that'll do it, but also just war of attrition. In the beginning, it can just wear you down. It's exhausting learning everything there is to learn. You got to put a lot of time into it, and you've got to be disciplined and focused, and that's not easy. Much easier to sit out here and rant on YouTube about scalping. No offense, scalpers, I like you guys. I just don't think it's a recipe for long-term success. But that's just my opinion. All right, so bonds dropping nicely. Let's see if the dollar, see what we're doing now, we're preparing every hour for the next hourly close, because that's how we try and make, decent decisions. And again, that doesn't mean we're not going to take losses, because that's another thing. People say, well, you wait and you wait and you prepare, and then you take the trade and it loses. Yeah, that can happen too, obviously. Like, not every trade wins. But what I like to do is use the time in between these hourly checks to prepare. So what do we have going on right now? Well, we know, we'll start at the top of the list here. We know the Dow is dropping and looking bearish. That's nice. We know the Russell is also dropping and looking bearish for now. Now the NASDAQ and the S&P are still at key support levels. Here's the NASDAQ. We're waiting to see if they can get down and through these support levels. But do we have any other evidence that we might be in the beginning phases of a move back to the downside today for stocks? Yes, we do. What is that evidence? Well, when we look at the bonds, let's go ahead and look at the 30-year. Bonds are dropping. This was the forecast for today. What does this tell us? If bonds are dropping, what's happening to rates? They're going up. If rates are going up, the stock market generally doesn't like that, especially right now. We're in a very rate sensitive environment, right? So if bonds continue to go lower and break through support, that's going to, be a good clue that stocks will break lower as well, and that our short side view with stocks will be intact if bonds continue to head lower. But what else do we want to see? We'd like to see a dollar, a stronger dollar. We don't want to see the dollar, we don't want to see the euro ripping higher against the dollar, because that's, more or less stock market positive. It shows that there's not a lot of fear in the market. It's more of a risk on appetite. We want to see more of a risk off appetite, which I think we're starting to see right now as we head into this potential liquidity crisis. The BTFP, the Bank Term Funding Program that the Fed put in place last March when Silicon Valley Bank failed, that's coming to an end here this March. That was a one-year lending program. I don't want to get into the specifics. Go Google it. But basically, some shit could hit the fan as this thing expires. And obviously, the market will lead. So if shit's going to hit the fan in March, the market's going to start dropping now, because the smart money already knows that. They'll price it in. These are the things that I'm looking at and thinking about as I look at the charts, but you also want to think about what's going on in the world. All right, let's go ahead and look at, so the bonds are dropping. That was my whole reason for that tangent, which means rates are going up. Let's go ahead now and look at gold. You can see gold is still trending down here on the daily, right? Not really a clear picture for today, but it's that there's if gold is going down, if bonds go down, If the dollar's going up, meaning the euro's going down, if all these things start going down together, that tells us that liquidity is contracting, right? So these are important things to note. Right now, gold is going down, but crude oil got smashed yesterday, but stabilizing today. So we don't have a major liquidity issue yet, but we could be starting to see the beginning signs of that. Let's look at silver. So silver, again, I definitely like from the short side, but we're just stuck in this tight range. Copper is kind of the same. Pretty quiet yesterday and today, and I think that's just the market's digesting that big drop we saw last week, right? So sometimes that'll happen. You'll get that big drop, and the market needs to digest that, see where it wants to go next. Here's platinum heading lower. Let's look at crude. Bullish for today. Just kind of waiting. If we get a pullback down into the lower end of the value area for crude later, into the true average here on the daily, around 71.40, that might be a good spot where I'd be willing to get long crude. Wait and see how that develops. And then here's the dollar, here's the euro. You can see it's got a very similar pattern to silver, right? And gold to some extent. You can see here, if this chart starts dropping, this is the euro futures contract. That means the euro is getting weaker against the dollar, means the dollar is getting stronger against the euro. So if that's the case, and the dollar starts to get strong here as this drops, if that continues throughout the day, while bonds are dropping, that's going to be a pretty good downward pressure placed on stocks for any time it gets, a chance to rally. So these are the things that we have to watch. I know it sounds complicated, but when you it's like a language. You do it enough, you learn to think in that language, and then it all kind of makes sense. Just like right now, how YouTube live streaming makes no sense to me because I don't speak the language of the YouTube live streaming software yet. I'm kind of figuring stuff out, and that's why I'm slow to push the buttons I need to push and do the things I need to do. That takes time to develop that language. Trading is the same. And the agriculturals, corn, wheat, soybeans, I'm going to go ahead and look at those after. Oh, here's trade balance here. Boom, 830. So that news is just released. We'll see. Let's go to bonds. They'll react to trade balanced. Go to the ultra bonds. So we have the Canadian trade balance and the US trade balance as well. But again, that's not like a major news announcement, but it could cause a little bit of movement. Water. Reminder, stay hydrated. Gotta go to the gym later. I went to the gym yesterday. That was nice. Lemon water. Delicious. Not a lot of lemons here in Sweden at the moment. Pretty cold, but at least it's only -1, -2 today. Improvement from the -15 we had a few days ago. All right, so you can see nothing happening on the back of trade balance. So this is, you see, watching paint dry, which is what trading is oftentimes. This is one of the key skills necessary for long-term success, right? Is you got to learn to just watch the market without feeling like you have to do something. It's really important. And I'm just noticing how far behind the actual stream is. That's pretty incredible, to be honest. Might have to change the bit rate. Let's see here. I'm just looking at the bit rate here for the stream. So stream settings here. I don't think I can change these intra-stream, but we'll work on that. I guess I have low latency. Yesterday it worked pretty good, but right now it's, I guess I need to switch it to ultra low latency. So that's good to know. So we can see that bonds are pushing a little bit higher. So if anybody's out there, let me know when you're actually hearing this live. Because right now it's 8:32 a.m., but I think the actual stream is quite a delay. All right, I'm going to mute the video and just take a little break, guys. I'll be back. Okay, thanks, Stephen. That's good to know, because when I'm seeing the stream on my other screen over here, it looks like it's way behind, but maybe it's pumping it out live to you guys close to real time, which is important, you know, for trading here. You guys want to get the information as close to real time as possible, so that's good. So 8:33 is when you heard that. I think that was pretty close. Right now it's 8:35 on my clock. Let me see if I can get the exact. 8:35 and 20 seconds right now. So when you heard that, just check your clock and then we'll know what kind of latency we have. If you can let me know, that'd be great. I'll give you another. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like we've got about a 20-second delay. That's not too bad. Next time I'll set the stream settings to ultra low latency, and then maybe we can get it down to like 5 seconds. That wouldn't be bad, but we are preparing for trades here based on the hourly chart, so it's you know, it's not a big deal even if we have a 20-second delay, but the lower we can get delay the better. That's good to know. Thanks for your help. Welcome to the stream. A private stream for you, but you got to start somewhere. Where are you watching from, Stephen? Good practice for me. I get to learn how to use the chat while we're doing all this. Oh, Utah, cool. I've been to Utah. Where was I in Utah? Park City, that's in Utah, right? I went skiing in Park City, I don't know, a while ago, but it was beautiful. Nice place to live. Early there for you. Gosh, what time is it? Are you guys mountain time? What is it? 6:30 for you? Cool. Welcome to the stream. If you have any questions, let me know. While we're waiting, because we still have about 20 minutes or so until the 9 a.m. check, and we'll see, you know, what we've got. If we want to, if I'm gonna, I say we, but if I'm gonna put on any trades, we'll find out at 9 a.m. But yeah, your mountain time. Okay, cool. Yeah, good skiing. So yeah, if you got any questions about any markets or anything you're wondering about, let me know. We got some time. We can, you know, if you're curious about a market or Anything else? Fire away. I'm an open book. And if you don't have any questions, that's fine too. No pressure. Are you interested in the software, or like, you know, what you're seeing on the charts? The software, you're looking at Sierra charts right now, which are new for me. I only recently coded all of my indicators into Sierra chart. Okay, software, yeah. So this is Sierra chart, which has been around for a long time, but you know, it can be a little daunting to get it all set up in the beginning because it's a pretty robust trading platform. It's not really, I would say it's closer to like an institutional level platform in terms of functionality. So it's not just like plug and play. You know, it takes some time to get to know how to use it. So that's why I kind of delayed using Sierra charts for a while. But with their market profile and volume profile information, I had to make the switch because I typically use TradeStation for charting. That's where I had my indicators coded originally, and TradeStation just doesn't have good volume profile information at all. And volume profile is becoming such a important part of plugging in my own trading setups that I had to make the switch. So I did that over the holidays. I spent a lot of time See, I'm not a programmer, obviously, but I kind of slogged through it and got a lot of my indicator stuff from TradeStation over to Sierra charts, because TradeStation uses easy language, right, which is like their sort of programming language. And then Sierra charts they have their own language, but it's closer to like a real C++. And I'm not a programmer, so for me it takes a while to figure that stuff out. But I've got it up to a level that I like now. I've got my indicators. I can see what's going on. And I still have a lot to learn about Sierra charts, but I like them. So that's the software. And here, what you're looking at is you've got the hourly chart here. This is just normal bar chart. We've got the daily chart here, and then over on a screen over there, I've got the weekly chart with the weekly volume profile, which is really important. And then on a chart over here, I've got the another hourly chart with some, you know, volume information that's important. That's kind of how I plug it all together. And if I'm really interested, you know, in what's going on in terms of a specific setup I want to take, then I'll have to flop it. Now you're looking at the monthly, the weekly, and the daily. So this is what I use for, you know, just putting together the daily forecast to get a sense of what I expect heading into the day, because it's really important. You know, I have to feel I have an understanding of where the market is headed if I'm going to put trades on in that market. So that's why, you know, I was suggesting that with, you know, if we flip over here to, this is the euro, right? The reason I said I'm not really interested in trading currencies today is because look at this daily chart here for the euro US dollar. I mean, this thing is just stuck at 109.70. So, you know, I don't want to take a chance trading in this range. I'd rather trade something that's just a bit more clear with more movement, right? So, and then of course I'm plugging in what I'm seeing on the daily over here to the weekly and the monthly. Hope that makes sense. Whereas crude oil, if we go ahead and flop over to that, what we can see here with crude oil, this is the monthly chart with crude, right? So you see how we've had this, you know, really big drop the last few months, but now this monthly pattern here scooping into this high connector turning point, which is that yellow dot right there. This is a really powerful pattern here for the monthly. So if the weekly confirms that monthly support, which so far it is, this is why I keep talking about being bullish crude. You could see a pretty good move out of here. And that's why I thought that yesterday's move on the daily was a good exhaust to the downside. And the fact that it tested that extension right there, that pink dot at those lows and held into all that weekly support here with that monthly pattern, that's why I'm, you know, quite bullish crude right now. So it just kind of gives you an idea of, you know, what I come into each day prepared with. So as I'm cycling through the hourly chart, there's obviously a lot of background with each market that we're trading. And I always have to reiterate that, you know, people are, oh, great, then you should probably win every trade. Nope. It's just You know, anything we can do to push that edge, you know, closer to positive expectancy is our goal, you know. So this is all the preparatory work that goes into it. Whereas, you know, with the stock market right now, I am bearish, but that move yesterday will flop on over to the NASDAQ. And by the way, the reason I'm bearish is because if I bring up my yearly and quarterly charts for you, it's scary. I mean, good for us if we're going to be shorting it the whole way down, but scary for people who bought in or, you know, holding stocks in their retirement portfolios. Tried to warn my parents, but who knows? Probably don't listen. Anyways, so the yearly and the quarterly charts notwithstanding, here you can see the monthly chart on the NASDAQ. Big ramp up. Everybody gets all excited. You know, to me, this monthly, I can bring up the yearly and the quarterly later, but just imagine it's running into a brick wall here with yearly and quarterly resistance, right? Which makes the possibility of this exhaust resistance pattern much more likely. So therefore, when the weekly enters congestion down like this, you know, that's a massive congestion entrance move to the downside. You've got a crossover here between the near high and the near low, right? I mean, you've got a massive amount of resistance here at 16,800. So yesterday, when the daily spiked up like that, I mean, we're running right into all that. That's why I'm, you know, looking to short this market today. But, you know, I still have to ask myself, are we going to squeeze higher on the daily? Well, we broke that extension on close. You know, that was a pretty big deal, which is why I'm keeping such a close eye on the true average today, which appears to be breaking right now at 16.7. So if this thing, you know, stays below here, we could be off to the races and be starting the next move to the downside. I don't know how much we'll get today, but this is the key level right now, 16.7, because that's that resistance level there that temporarily broke yesterday, but we're reclaiming it now. And you got that true average. And then again, all this context on the weekly and the monthly charts. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for the stock market. So if we go back to, do you have any questions about any of that? That makes sense? So here's the NASDAQ hourly, and now you can see we're breaking that level there at 16.7. So that could be, it could mean that we're going to be potentially getting some good shorts later in the day if this continues to trend down and we get a pullback. A lot of people will, you know, will take, you know, say, oh, well, there's the level. As it starts breaking through it, we'll, you know, take it. I'm not a momentum trader. I don't trade intra-bar regardless of what, if I'm looking at the hourly, or if I'm, some days if I'm trading, you know, privately, I'll use a volume-based chart if I'm just watching one market. And I always try and wait for the close of the bar I'm working with, because it just kind of anchors decision making and makes it less likely to start jumping in and out and getting FOMO and all that kind of stuff. I hope that made sense. Looking to long CL and maybe short ES after. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't look like a bad, from what I can see right now, it looks like, you know, let's check ES, but NQ certainly looks like it's trying to break down. And crude has a good pattern to the long side, so I think that's not a bad idea. Here's crude. I'm also looking to long crude, but if you see here on the hourly chart for crude, you know, where I would want to get long crude is probably down around 72 or lower, because you know how volatile crude can be, right? So this is sort of on the daily chart here. This is a good support level down here. And then on the hourly, what you can see, I mean, with the volume profile here, you know, the value area low right now is down around 71.60. So I'd be interested in maybe getting long crude down here somewhere. But again, I would still have to get a nice, you know, pattern that I like on the hourly to confirm that. But yeah, that's the general area down here on crude where I'm looking maybe to get long later. And then with ES, yeah, ES looks to be breaking through that true average there at 47.80. So yeah, looks but again, so I don't know, how do you trade? Are you just going to trade the, like, if ES starts to drop, will you just jump on board? And if crude starts to go up, will you just jump on board, or do you have like specific criteria that you wait for? For me, you know, I'm waiting for that pullback in crude, and then here on ES, I'm waiting for, you know, if we continue to drop and I see that confirmation, then I'll just look for a pullback in the trend like that to get short and jump on board the train. And I do think that the Russell overall looks the weakest because it's the most rate sensitive, which I think is the shock that's setting up here for the markets in the next couple months. Yeah, so that's kind of the approach I'm looking for as well, waiting for the pullbacks after. For me, these levels are now breaking. We'll see where these hourlies close, but it looks to me like these key support levels are breaking on NASDAQ and ES. So yeah, now it's just waiting for the pullback. Cool. So we've got 8:48 a.m. Let's go ahead and do a quick check so we're prepared if we want to take. I want to take any action here at the 9 o'clock hourly close. So yeah, that's the kind of pullback I like to wait for here on ES. I didn't take that because, you know, we weren't below my key level yet, but that's what I'm looking for now. All right, so ES, this is the way I filter it hour by hour. I just say to myself, well, I know generally speaking, I'm probably going to be looking to play the short side today as long as we stay below that 47.80 level, right? So, you know, and then I ask myself, well, is this a short pattern? No, not really. Not for me. Might be for some people. So I'm going to wait. That's how I sort of go hour by hour and just wait for the pattern to come. So NASDAQ will obviously be more or less the same as the ES. Just waiting for some fireworks, waiting for a pullback. Dow and Russell, same thing. So for me, there'll be nothing for the 9 o'clock hour on stocks, but let's go ahead and look at bonds. See, I'm waiting for a push on bonds. We can get a decent move up in here somewhere. Right now, we don't have a pattern that I'm interested in for the 30-year. Let's check the ultra bond. No, it's kind of a mess, right? Outside bar here for the ultra bonds. So nothing there. It's been a slow day. Yeah, yesterday was, I mean, you had that rip-roaring reversal on the indices back to the top side, but you know, when I saw that starting, I just thought, this is a day that I don't really want to partake in. Sure, in hindsight, it would have been nice to jump on board that trend to the upside, but I think the big money is going to be made from the short side right now. So that's kind of my bias. So I decided to kind of sit out yesterday. Although platinum would have been a good short yesterday at 8 a.m. All right, let's look at, so stocks won't do anything for 9 a.m. Bonds won't do anything for 9 a.m. Let's go ahead and look at gold. See, so gold, at least we're getting a little bit of a punch up here above the value area high, which in and of itself is not a bad place for a short. But you know what I said about the gold chart heading into the day is that it's not really that clear to me. It's kind of choppy like FX, right? So, you know, unless I see something absolutely outstanding on gold, I just pass on it. Gold, I'm going to pass. Let's look at silver. Silver the same, right? You see with currencies, they're just, silver and gold right now are just kind of a good place to lose money. Choppy. Look at copper. Copper not really giving us much. Let's look at platinum. Yeah, so I don't know if you heard, but with platinum, that was the one yesterday here at 8 a.m. That was a good one. I would have shorted it, missed it because I didn't start figuring out all the streaming stuff early enough, which is why I'm starting to stream at 7:30 now, so I don't miss any more of these types of trades. That was the one good one from yesterday. Usually if you're patient, well, if I'm patient, I can get, you know, one or two, you know, pretty good ones per day, according to my methodology. But yesterday slow, today so far slow. But still early. All right, so here's crude getting a little bit of a pullback. And we can see here on the volume profile, mean, we're right up near the upper end of the value area, so it's not an area where I would long crude. We'd have to come, you know, down in here. I'll read your comment in just a second. Doesn't look like we're going to be doing much for the 9 o'clock hourly. There's natural gas. Yeah. Let's see. What'd you say? Yeah, exactly. It's tough to watch so many different assets. It's something that I've gotten better at with time, and certainly structuring it around the hourly chart helps. Because typically when if I'm watching a couple assets, I'll usually just focus on the volume-based charts, because I do like volume-based charts better for intraday trading. But I find that overall is a trade-off. If I watch so many assets, I can't put on the volume-based intraday charts because they'd all be closing at different times, right? So I have to use the hourly, which is it's a minute-based chart. I don't like using time as a variable, but the trade-off is then I get to watch so many more markets because they all close on the hour, and you can kind of get a sense of the interplay, the intermarket correlations between them. So I like to do it, and I like to do it like this. And it's good because, you can really see certain trades, confirming other trades. So those are the ones that I like, the best. I'm not the type of trader where, if I see NQ ripping to the upside and, let's say ES hasn't followed yet, some people will buy that, ES thinking it's going to catch up to NQ, and sometimes it will, right? I'm not really, I like to take the trades where, let's say if I want to go short NQ, I like to see, ES, YM, RTY, all telling me that the short looks good. I also like to see, if bonds are also flashing a good short. And it depends on the regime we're in too, right? Like right now we're in a very rate sensitive environment. So the correlations between stocks and bonds are a little bit more solid than they sometimes can be, right? Because sometimes you can see stocks and bonds get really out of whack for weeks, but right now we're not seeing that. So yeah, those are the kind of trades I like. What kind of methodology do you use to filter your trades? Are you using price action or typical candlesticks, double tops? I'm just going to use the restroom real quick. I'll just be gone for about 2 minutes and then come back. We can chat. I'm enjoying the chat. Good to have you here. All right. I'm back. That was nice. Yeah, so it appears the video that I'm seeing that YouTube is sort of processing while we're streaming is way behind, but it's good to know that the actual live feed is not, you know, super behind. Price action, last April. Yeah, it's a journey. It'll take some time. I mean, I think, you know, there are a lot of methodologies that if you use them consistently, you know, you can be profitable with them. It just takes, I think you got to be consistent in your approach and have realistic expectations. Probably the hardest part. And then also, the biggest thing I think, you know, for me anyways, before I reached the level of consistency was just being patient. And I'm not going to sit here and say that sometimes I don't get a little impatient. I still do, but really just waiting for the setups that I really like. And it gets easier with time. And I think that that's kind of the difference between consistent success and you know, just kind of up and down, is those 50-50 trades will just nickel and dime you, right, and eat into the P&L. So you just wait for the good ones. That's really, and then of course you got to know what, you know, what are your good ones. But if, assuming you know that, wait for those, and those are the ones you want. Try not to take all the other, you know, so-so ones, because there are so many good so-so trades every single day. It can be hard not to take those. And we'll go ahead and we'll look, and ask any questions you want to in the chat. I'm just, we're going to look at, so it's 9 a.m. now. We already did our 9 a.m. check. I'm going to go ahead and look at the agriculturals, right? Because those are going to reopen at 9:30. Let's get a little bit of the lay of the land on corn, soybeans, wheat. You ever trade the agriculturals? We'll look at the live cattle, hogs. Sometimes those I don't trade them often, but sometimes they can give good setups, and especially on a day like today where it's a little bit slower, sometimes you can catch something good over on the ags. So let's go ahead and jump to our weekly, daily charts, monthly, weekly, daily. So these are our higher time period charts, and I'm going to go ahead and scroll on down to corn. This is corn here. Quickly looking. No, I don't think I want to trade corn today. Look at wheat. Wheat's got a decent little short pattern there in the monthly. But the daily, I don't know. Like a lot of things are really just you can, over time you get a sense for when the market is transitioning from one regime to the other, because you can see the confusion in the charts, and right now there's a lot of that. And knowing that, you know, that's also just an element of having been around this for such a long time, that when you see these type, like right now, we're sort of, in my view, we're in a regime shift. You know, what I mean by that is that the narrative was that the Fed, you know, was going to start cutting in March. Everybody was getting excited, and you know, the market got off to the races. I think the market got way ahead of itself, and it's now starting to realize that it got ahead of itself, and we're probably heading into this recession now that the yield curve is, you know, uninverting. So I think that's what I mean by a regime shift, which is what I think we're seeing, which is why the markets are a little shaky right now. And by recognizing that, I think it's a really good time. You know, this is why I'm being a little bit more careful, much more selective, because I can see that regime that we're in, and I know it's not a regime to press it, right? Not until things really clear up. And I think as a new trader, that's one thing maybe that you can take away from this, is that you know, knowing when not to trade is so key, because when you're just starting out, you kind of come into each day, think, not you, but you know, the just general, when we're all new, we think that each day should kind of offer the same types of opportunities, and that's really not the case. And if you can recognize the kind of market that you're in, for your methodology and when to push it and when to really just kind of exercise caution, that's going to make a huge difference, you know, in overall P&L. It's really important. I hope that made sense. How do you decide if you want to trade an, okay, how do I decide if I want to trade an asset that day? I mean, it's based on what I just said, you know, about the regime we're in, right? Just how I'm feeling overall in terms of the clarity of the market and the structure. But then, you know, as an example, let's say I'll go back to crude, and then I'll come back here to the agriculturals. But so crude, how would I know that I'm interested in crude today? It was kind of what I went over earlier, which is that I've got clear price structure according to my methodology, which is that strong monthly support pattern here, which is, you know, telling me that the weekly could be giving me strong support down here, and then the daily is giving me a really nice pattern. So the daily is confirming support into the weekly, into the monthly. That's why I'm, you know, very interested in longing crude today, potentially on a pullback. So that's how I would select, you know, that as an asset that I like for today. So, and then how do I, you know, look at an asset and say, I'm just generally not interested? Well, that would be like, you know, let's take the euro here. You know, I'm really not interested right now because this, look at this thing, like it's just not going anywhere, right? That's a good way to get chewed up and spit out and lose money. And then when it comes to the agriculturals, so like when you heard me skip over, let's say corn, we'll go back to corn here. And I said, nah, I'm not really interested in corn. Well, I'll tell you why. See the monthly here to the left. You know, we're heading to the downside. The weekly is in a nice trend run to the downside, right? So corn looks pretty weak right now. Well, the daily, you see how we closed here on the lows, right? So I just like, you know, intraday, I don't take this type of I don't chase markets lower. So the only way I'd be interested in corn, for example, is here. Which I wasn't trading it. I haven't looked at corn very closely lately. I'm gonna start doing it again with the stream, but this would be a good example here, right? So you see how you're trending nicely. There's your pullback. All other things being equal, if I liked what I was seeing in terms of downward direction on the weekly and then the monthly, then that pullback is kind of what I'm interested. Like those are the days, right? So this is why with the NQ today, you know, I'm interested in the short side if we can stay below that 16,700 level. Same thing for the S&P on 4780, because we have a nice daily pattern, you know, a good resistance pattern here. We're in daily resistance, and it's matching up with what I'm seeing on the weekly and the monthly. So that's how I decide if I want to, you know, trade an asset for that particular day. Hey, Ez, good to see you. Welcome. Now we've got Utah and Argentina and Sweden. Got a very international bunch going. Yeah, so that's how I decide if I'm going to trade an asset or not. And I enjoy answering your questions, so as many as you have, fire away. I'm here anyways waiting for trades, so answering questions just makes the time go by faster and have more fun, and the stream will be up for other people at some point when they discover it, and they can get some good value from it, hopefully. Let's look at, so that's wheat. So that's why I'm not interested in wheat, for example. Here's wheat, right? Because sure, the monthly has downward pressure, which I like. The weekly, yeah, a little bit of downward pressure, but now the daily, you see, like we're at these lows, right? So we're in support. Now that support looks weak and it could break, but if I wanted to, you know, if I wanted to go short, I don't want to short in support. And then you say to myself, well, okay, but then why don't I like this pattern to go long? We're in support. Why don't I go long? Well, because I'd be going against the monthly and the weekly energy. I don't want to go against that higher time period energy. That's what really shifts the edge on my side over the long term, is trading with, you know, the higher time period energy, the higher time period directions. So that's how I determine if I want to trade an asset. Look at soybeans. Ez, don't you guys export a lot of soybeans down there in Argentina? Or am I thinking of another South American country? I think Argentina has a lot of soybeans. So soybeans, yeah, kind of the same. The ags are just getting hammered, but we're not really, I don't have any evidence you got kind of a nice, see like here on the daily, I got what could be an exhaust pattern down here, big volume. So there could be some support down here, right? On soybeans, there could be. But looking at where I am on the weekly and the monthly, I would never buy this, right? So it's all about context. Depending where I am, you know, that determines where I am in the higher time period, the weekly and the monthly, that determines if I like what I'm seeing on the daily. So they all kind of need to match up. Look at soybean meal futures. Same thing. It's kind of a mess. And see, by taking this approach, it keeps me out of a lot of bad trades that I just don't want to, you know, because you got to allocate capital, number one, right? So I have to use margin if I'm going to be in on anything. And then I've got to allocate my brain power, my time, my energy to, I want to try and reserve my capital and my brain for trades that I really like, right? Why? It's important trade selection. So here is soybean oil. See, soybean oil looks a little different to me because we've got some support now coming in here on the monthly. I don't need to get into all the reasons why, but you've got some support down here. And now you can see the weekly is already reacting to this support here, right? We're already pushing higher. So even though the weekly was heading down, we're going for congestion entrance up here, which means there could potentially be some support here on soybean oil. And the daily, you see, look at this. Big reversal move to the upside yesterday on soybean oil. Big volume. So, there should be quite a lot of support down here on soybean oil. So, I'm still not nuts about this weekly and monthly, so I probably still wouldn't trade soybean oil today. But, if we had a big exhaust on the hourly down into all this support at, 47.60 on soybean oil, that's one that I would take a look at, and kind of quasi consider. That makes sense, Steven? I hope so. Let me know if I need to clear anything else up. Ez, did you end up buying Bitcoin? You got a little bit of a rip out of it. I covered Bitcoin earlier, Ez, so you can go back and look. But basically, with Bitcoin right now, the monthly is trending nicely to the upside. Weekly looks like it's now trying to break out of this range, head higher. And the daily is also now trying to break out of this range. So all of the things being equal, it looks pretty pretty bullish at the moment. But see, and then back to Steven's question, why wouldn't I trade this today? Well, I wouldn't trade it because we just don't really have we're in this resistance level, right? So it might break, but I like to trade into support. So that's how I structure it. Steven, you want a wrench? You can be a moderator. No pressure. You don't have to be. But you are one of the first people on the channel, so you do have the right to be a moderator if you want. Gives you great powers. You can throw people off the chat once the chat gets big. So that's Bitcoin. Go back to our intraday charts here. By the way, can you guys see the charts okay with where my camera, the video of me on the screen, where that is right now? It looks okay to me, but I want to make sure when I'm explaining things and drawing around, you guys can see what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, cool. I'll make you a mod, and yeah, I guess it'll just pop up. It'll tell you, I think it just gives you the ability to, block people or whatever at some point once we have people in this chat, which I think we will. Just keep it going. I'll be here every day. I have to be. I got to trade. So here, I'll add you as a moderator. Okay. Now you're a moderator. You guys can have a moderator battle, you and Ez. If Ez starts mouthing off, you can kick him out, but then he's a moderator, so he could come back and kick you. That would be interesting. We got to have fun while we're trading, guys. at least while we're waiting for trades. Gotta be light and humorous, pass the time, especially looking out the window. It's very dark and snowy here. I bet that's nice about Utah, right, Steven? You probably got some nice sunny winters, I guess, depending where you are. But here in Sweden, people think the winter's nice. It's not. It's just super foggy and cloudy. All that, it's like wet and cold. I'm from LA, you know, so I don't like it. All right, let's see what we got shaken for ES. Yep, continuing to head down. I think these markets too, you know, I didn't take a trade yesterday, aside from that damn platinum trade that I missed at 8 a.m., which I'm over it, but yeah, it would have been nice to have that. But I didn't take a trade yesterday, and I'm okay with that, right? Because even though here in the NASDAQ, you had that big push up, I mean, I think a lot of people got squeezed yesterday. That's probably, you know, tough day. And now today, I think a lot of longs can get liquidated on the way back down. So I'm happy with the way we're reading it, and now just waiting for the opportunities to come to take advantage and make some money. Yeah, that's nice. It's dry for you. Yeah, you're in the mountains, right? So you get nice, dry, sunny winters. That sounds fantastic. What brought me here to Sweden? I came to Sweden originally about almost 25 years ago for my first graduate degree at a Swedish university. When I finished my undergraduate degree in LA at Loyola Marymount University, I went and did my first master's at a university in Sweden. And I just kind of, I met a woman, and you know, that led to a marriage and a daughter. And now I have my current wife, who's also Swedish, and I have a daughter with her. So my wife is Swedish, her family's here. She likes the family, you know, the culture, the connection. So we're here for now. We were living in the Canary Islands for a while. It's nice, it's sunnier, but it's a little bit more boring. But we'll probably head back there, I think, because I really miss the sun, the surf. I grew up in LA. I love surfing. We'll probably head back to the Canary Islands. You say, well, why don't we live in the States? I don't know. There are some places in the States I guess I would consider, but like my parents moved to Arizona now. I don't really have that much interest to go back to California at this exact moment. So yeah, probably head back down to the Canary Islands this summer. Maybe Lanzarote. It's a cool island. You can do they have good surf there. That'd be nice. We'll be streaming from the sunshine soon enough. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, the cold and the darkness is tough. It's the darkness that's even harder, you know, because the latitude we're at here in Sweden, I'm in Gothenburg, Sweden, which is, you know, it's pretty similar to Anchorage, Alaska, if you think about how high up we are. And that's just, you don't get a lot of sun. I guess the Swedes handle it fine, but for me, I don't know if it's because I'm from California. I'm used to the sun. I got to work really hard not to go nuts when it's dark all the time. That's why I joined the gym here, and it does help, you know, working out and doing the ice. I do this freezing cold ice shower and the sauna, and you know, that helps. It helps mentally a lot. Like it's almost like after that ice shower and the sauna and the training, like you feel high, you know. So that's nice. And stopping drinking, yeah, like I don't drink alcohol anymore, and you know, stopping it, especially in this climate, is a good idea because it doesn't solve anything. So I think taking care of myself has helped. But Utah sounds beautiful. I mean, the dry, even if it's cold, if it's dry and sunny and snowy, I mean, that's beautiful. Utah's a place I'd consider. I mean, Utah, I guess Colorado, Idaho's not. I think Idaho probably a little too cold for me. But and I think ultimately I'd want to be down by the beach somewhere. But I do love the sunny mountain areas, especially with 4 seasons. That's not bad. Well, we got the stock market opening here in about 13 minutes, so that'll be cool. We'll get some volatility. Oh, that's nice. I wish I had the need for sunglasses. What's the temp like where you are? Does it you know, does it kind of stay in the 20s? Because that's also really nice if it's dry, sunny, snowy, but you're kind of in the 20s. When it starts to get, you know, down around 10, I'm talking Fahrenheit, now that starts to get a little chilly. Here in Sweden, we had about 10 degrees Fahrenheit for a few days recently, and that was cold. But when it's like 26, 27, 28, it's snow, I think that's perfect. $20 to $40, yeah, that's perfect. That's a really good temperature. Because then when the snow melts, as long as you got sunshine, I mean, that's great. The sunshine's the key, and just not below 20 degrees. You snowboard or ski or anything? I did a little bit of skiing, but more snowboarding. Mostly just because of the surfing. So what I will do sometimes, if I have a good read on what the market is doing, which today I feel I do, I would be surprised to see this reverse. Now that we've broken through the true average there at 47.80 for ES, I would be surprised to see us reverse higher until we at least test down into the middle of the moving average envelope here and the near low, which is, you know, 47.55-ish. I feel like we're probably headed at least back down to that 47.55 area. Now, once we get there, it's anybody's bet. We'll see what happens, and if some buying comes in and we push back higher, I don't know. But for now, it looks like the path of least resistance is down, with 47.80 up in here being resistance and wanting to test back down to that 47.55 level. So with that in mind, you know, I'll always look at the hourly here because, you know, during when the market opens, you can get some just crazy volatility sometimes. Lately, it's been kind of crappy, but so then I'll look at my hourly and I'll go, okay, well, you know, 47.90, you got the envelope top here on the daily, you got the old extent, you got a lot of resistance here, 47.83 to 47.90. So I'll look at my hourly and go, do I have anything over here? Yeah, I mean, I've got a nice collection of extensions right up in here, just above 47.90. So, because sometimes what can happen, you know, 9 times out of 10, I wait for the hourly close, but sometimes you can see something like this where, you know, at the open, it'll spike up there and then sell off and, you know, close here. And that'll, you know, set up that short for, you know, for that continuation down. So I'll sometimes set an order. If I see it, we'll watch the open together. But if we get lucky, I don't know what's going to happen. Probably we won't head up there, but I like to plan these out sometimes where if we get lucky and spike up here, that's where, you know, I might take a short. But again, it would have to give us a pretty good spike, which is unlikely. But if it does happen, I want to be prepared knowing that, yeah, I like this resistance area. And we do have some nice hourly resistance up here. The volume profile, you can see you got a low volume area here, right? Coming across. So I like all that. If we got a bounce, I'll let you know if I take any trades, but that's something I'm going to be watching. We'll be watching it together. And on the NASDAQ, that level would be, you know, basically up there to 16,760. Right up in here. Some resistance. And if we look at the volume profile, that's also matching up with a nice low volume area there. So could be nice. I'm going to go ahead and look at the weekly profile real quick. Yeah, I feel like we're headed back down to the bottom of the weekly value area now with the NASDAQ and the S&P. And the point of control for the week for the NASDAQ is 16,720. But yeah, and the S&P will be the weekly point of control for the S&P. Oh, wow. Weekly point of control for the S&P is at 4,800. That's big. That's right at the top of the weekly value area. That's a lot of resistance. That's cool. Yeah, so if we got a spike, I would definitely look to short these at the open. Take a quick look at bonds just to kind of see what we got shaken. Yeah, bonds are pushing a little higher. Don't really see anything I want to do on bonds yet, but still a bearish day. So if we got to push, you know, a good pattern at the 10 o'clock hour into resistance, could be interested in shorting that. We do have the weekly value area high on bonds at about 130.10, right up in here. Probably a good area. But I'll just watch, I mean, I like to watch NQ during the open because it's, you know, the most volatile and gives us a chance maybe to get short. And at the open, I really can only watch, like I can't watch all these right at the open, but the Dow and the Russell, I definitely want to get. I mean, the Dow could move. We'll cycle back and forth because the Dow could give us a good short up into the 37,840. Beautiful. Whenever you've got the extension here matching up with the value area high, of course that's going to shift as we open, but that's a nice area up in there. Watch for the Dow. And then the Russell, yeah, 1992-ish volume profile wise. Oh yeah, I think these are going down. I mean, looking at the weekly volume profile, it looks bearish. Did all that make sense? Sound good, Steven? Do you have any levels you're watching for the open? Get my sweater. 1 second. All right, just a little more toasty. I got my fake sun lamp over here too, which is nice. I've got the NQ on my DOM. Now we've got a previously untested value area high on the hourly chart for the NASDAQ up around 740 up in here, which is kind of, I mean, if we got up there to 760, I think that'd be a gift to get short, unless it blows straight through that level. But if that happens, that'll change the outlook for the day. But for right now, the outlook is bearish. I'm just checking out your comment. ES opens around 47.85 and how CL opens. Okay, sounds good. Let's see, 47.85. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens at the open. I'm kind of hoping we get a 47.85. Yeah, that's not bad. I'd be willing to maybe throw on a short a little higher, just for me. Don't let me influence your thinking. But yeah, anywhere up there I think could be a good spot. I'll watch the NASDAQ. But you probably got the S&P open for you. I've got the S&P price over here, so. By the way, Steven, can you see, like when I'm drawing and explaining on the charts with where my video, you know, capture is it okay how it's set up? I'll probably have to play around with it a little bit, but it's kind of hard to get everything in the right spot. Some stretching. Oh. And 3.5 miles yesterday for me is, but I haven't been doing that running lately. My gotta forget the English word. Hammies are sore. My groin. That's the word I was looking. All right, it is 9:28. Okay, cool. Make myself smaller. Let me do that. Good feedback. Thanks. I'm gonna do that. Hold on. How's that? Is that good, or is that? It seems kind of good from my perspective, but let me know what you think if that's good. I'll figure it all out too at some point. I'll maybe tonight, if I have some time, I'll put some time into the setup. Okay, cool. Perfect. Nice. I'll make it even better, but just for now, I think it's okay. Thanks for the feedback. Appreciate it. All right. So the market is opening 15 seconds. We've got a delay. My market is open. 3, 2, 1, open. So you know what the delay is. Yeah, we got the value area high up here as well on the NASDAQ. Be fun to watch the volume profile shifting. Oh, I need to get a bell. Yeah, I've got on my oh, you mean I need you mean like I need like a physical bell to go like ding ling ling? It's a good idea. See if I can find one at an antique store. We'll go market open. That was my sorry attempt at a bell sound. Good thing I don't get paid for my bell sounds. All right, let's check the Dow. Yeah, look, the Dow, I think Dow and Russell are leading us lower today. Beautiful. Now we just need a nice pullback. See what how. So NASDAQ is trying to, in this instance, I really hope the if the NASDAQ heads anywhere up into this area, I'm gonna have to short it and just see what happens. It's one of the rare times that I will trade intra-bar. But Dow and Russell dumping. If the NASDAQ can pump, That's a divergence I'd like to short. Yeah, the S&P is not doing a whole lot. 47.72. Nasdaq's the only one trying to do a little bit of a pump. See if they can go suck in some more longs. We can get short. See how bonds are doing. Kind of hanging out. An eye on the Nasdaq, because that's what I'm interested in. I ate all my dark chocolate, which is fortunate because I want some. You know, it's late here. What is it? 3:30. Yeah, ES just kind of hanging out. Dow trying to dump. Russell dumping. Yeah, it's the Russell. I was going to sell that close yesterday on close. I should have in hindsight. But the Nasdaq and the S&P closing so strong, I just thought, I want to wait and see. And sure enough, they're dropping. Gold. Nasdaq's trying to get up there. Oh. I'm gonna just have to short. It just, with what we're seeing on bonds, the Russell and the Dow, I mean, if the Nasdaq gets up anywhere near 760, I'm gonna have to short. Because especially too, the fact that they didn't even open lower. They had like a nice little gap. That's how aggressive the selling was. And also the point of control on ES is up there as well. Weekly point of control. What's crude doing? Are you watching crude? I'm just kind of hanging out. Nasdaq's the one I'm going to watch because I don't want to miss it. If it, I doubt it'll pop up there, but if it does, I have to get ready to short. Pull back on CL. Let me check. Yeah, a little bit of a pullback. I'd be waiting for, you know, a much larger pullback on CL. See the hourly chart here on CL. Trending up. Congestion entrance down. Broke the extension. I mean, I'd be happy longing down here somewhere, 70.40. Not with an order, but just waiting to see if the hourly gets down there and what the hourly pattern looks like. That's kind of where I'd be interested, maybe in CL. What's the Nasdaq at? 95. Do I use EMAs? No, I don't use, I just use my own proprietary stuff here that you see on the screen, and then the volume profile, just to confirm what I'm seeing with my stuff. And I learned all my stuff from a very famous guy who's in a lot of books. I can't really mention his name publicly because there are laws about you can't use somebody's likeness. Can't mention them or use them. They can sue you for, like, you know, using their name for marketing and stuff. So I don't use his name, but a very famous old school trader. That's what all my stuff is based on. It's just that I took what he had and I was one of his top students, and I just kind of made it, in my opinion, better. Just made it my own. Like you do in trading, you build on the shoulders of giants. He's certainly a giant. If tomorrow Bitcoin ETF is going to be rejected or postponed, chance. Yeah, exactly. I think so too. As it's going to be wild, that's for sure. Are you holding a position going into it, or are you just waiting to see what happens? Just watching the charts here, guys. Looking around my office, see if I had any dark chocolate laying around that I forgot about. I don't think I do. I wish I did. Okay, so you're in the spot, yeah. But the spot, you know, it'll follow the futures. Fingers crossed for you, amigo. As, how do you say good luck in Spanish? I forgot. Should remember. I know how to say the planet Jupiter. Júpiter. Buena suerte. Okay, cool. Tack. Thank you. Tack is thank you in Swedish. Buena suerte. Buena suerte, amigo. Tú y Bitcoin mucho dinero. We got to make the stream bilingual. As when we grow the stream, you can be the Spanish interpreter. So every time I get on, I say, "Hey, hello everybody. How are you?" And you can go, "Hola, saludos a todos. ¿Cómo estás?" And you can just do the Spanish version. I'm watching NASDAQ here. Nice emoji, as I like it. I dig it. How's the game in the Netherlands? Do you guys still play as, or did you or you haven't played in a while? I'm over it. I've been so busy. Plus, I suck at poker, so it's better to focus on trading. It's funny. It's like I'm so disciplined in my trading that I think that's why I suck at poker. Because when I play poker, I'm like, I can just be emotional and tilt and just go nuts, and like it's where I let out all the mistakes I don't make in trading. I go make them in poker. New players, nice. Got some new fish for you. You can go fishing, amigo. I don't even miss poker. I don't think about it ever. I love trading too much. Trading is my poker. We're seeing the sellers come in, but I would like the NASDAQ to pop. We can get short. I like 16,750. Don't think we're going to get up there. What's ICP, amigo? ACP. Internet Computer? Is that a company? What is my wife right about? Okay, bonds are rallying. That's interesting. Decentralized. Okay, so it's like a decentralized company. Oh, Steven, sorry. I'm you guys are chatting to each other. Okay, good. I missed I missed that. Oh, yeah, my wife says trading is poker. Is that what your wife says, Steven? Okay, yeah. Well, no, as I got to disagree with you there. I don't think trading is poker at all. I mean, Steven, I suck at poker and I don't suck at trading, so I think they're very different. Trading to me is way more like strategy based. I know that you have to know how to play poker and there's a lot of strategy, and believe me, Ez is very good. But trading, there's still an element of luck in poker that doesn't really exist in trading. And in trading, you can't bluff. The market will kill you if you bluff. I think they're pretty, trading and poker to me are very different. Now, if you don't know what you're doing, then trading can be gambling, sure. But, you know, if you know what you're doing and you have a system and you actually play your system, then trading is not gambling at all. That's just my opinion. I'm going to catch up on the chat here. Well, it doesn't look like we're getting our bounce yet. 9:46 a.m. So we have to do our hour. I'm going to do my hourly check here for the 10 a.m. hourly close coming up. Yeah, she said that after a losing streak. Yeah, that'll happen. May not want to tell her about the losing streaks. It's not that you want to hide anything. I just I don't even share my trading with my wife because I just don't involve her in that. Just easier. Oh, we were just at 16666. It's got to be an omen to go short. What do you guys think? All right, guys, I'm going to go use the restroom real quick. I'm drinking a lot of lemon water, so it's cleaning me out. I got to just take a little whiz. I'll be back in I don't know, a minute or two, and then we can do the check for the 10 a.m. hourly close. So I'll leave the stream running here, of course, but I'll mute the mic. I'll be right back. All right. Oh, your wife grew up in Buenos Aires. Cool. Talk to Ez about that when he's back. Well, is your wife Argentinian, Stephen? Or she just like grew up there? Okay, let's see here. Well, I'm waiting for a pullback on the ES, which we're not getting yet. NASDAQ, not getting yet. Dow breaking through some key support, point of control moving lower. So I think definitely some beautiful weakness here, but just not getting really a pullback. Some days you get them, some days you don't. Russell looking weak, which I'm happy about, but still waiting for a pullback. Look at the 30-year bond. Oh, Peruvian, cool. I've always wanted to go to South America. I've never been. I was thinking about what's it called? Uruguay. There's a place down there on the coast called Playa del Este, I believe. I was thinking about getting a house there. It looks pretty nice. But I've never actually been, so I'd have to go there first. Peruvian, yeah, nice. All right, so here's bonds. Okay, so bonds. 30-year, we're getting a nice little push up here. We're definitely back in the resistance area for bonds. You know, we're outside the value area high here, which I like. Bonds, I might, yeah, here's the ultra bond. I think if we close around here, I might have to short the ultra bonds. Especially if gold keeps heading lower. Silver heading lower. Copper. Platinum. It's a little bit of a pullback here for crude, but I don't really have my... it could be a good pullback there, but I don't have a pattern that I would take, and I would wait for it to get lower. What the dollar's doing. Yeah, again, just choppy. Yeah, so I think I might be seeing a short on bonds potentially. We've got 6 minutes to go. Get my GOM all squared away for bonds. So I might short the bonds at 10 a.m. and the reason is the daily is trending down. You've got a little bit of a pullback pattern here, and you're right up into what could be, you know, quite a lot of resistance here at this 130.5 level, 130.16. Now, of course, we could go short and this thing could just slam right up and through us and we take a loss, and that could happen, but that resistance could hold and fire back down here. We're up into the daily value area high, which for mean reversion is good. Point of controls up there, which could reinforce that resistance level. At the weekly value area high. The weekly still looks weak to me. It could be. We'll have to see. It's going to be a critical close. We've got checking a few things. Let's see, 9:56. So we got some time. We got 3.5 minutes. This is, got a nice extension up there. It's funneling into the low connector. That's a nice OMA combination potentially, but it's going to really depend on. Let's look at the volume profile here. See some volume. Let's see how this volume comes in here, where this closes. The hourly volume profile is pretty thin up here, which is, you know, good for a potential reversal. Look at the monthly chart again, just quickly here for bonds. Yeah, I mean, the monthly's pretty darn bearish. It's weird. That daily, oh, it's because I got the that's the daily, right, which is different than the, over here I've got the Also the daily. Strange. This could be a good short. I might have to take it and maybe risk, you know, we'll see. I'll let you know. The worst that can happen, right? Either win or we lose. We've got 2 minutes to go. Nasdaq's given a little bit of a pullback, but I would want more of a pullback there. I think the ultra bonds are the one I would want to watch. Let's look at the 10-year. This is going to be key for us. So I also want to see if I may see the 10-year is blowing through the value area high. That's kind of important. The 10-year would need to hold that level there. If the 10-year closes above here, I'm not going to be interested. What do we have here? There's the ultra bond. Sorry, this is the 30-year. Here's the ultra. I might short. I'm gonna kind of see where we close. We close here at 9 on the highs. I will not short. Explain why in a moment. Still got 40 seconds to go. $20 seconds. Okay, so I'm not going to short that. It might drop, but the reason I'm not going to short it is because it closed for the second hour in a row. It closed right on the dead high. We closed outside the value area high. Definitely some resistance up here somewhere, but I think the risk is that it could go a little higher. So we'll see. Even if it drops and I'm not in, I don't care because I see enough red flags to not take the trade. Go ahead and look at the 10-year. I want to see the 10-year. Could be some resistance here for the 30-year. Looks maybe a little better for a short. Potentially. I like the idea of shorting here, but there's just something I don't like. Structure of the weekly volume profile. So I will think about it and see. Let me see what stocks are doing. And again, I'm just, what I said earlier, Stephen, is I'm exercising a lot of caution yesterday and today because of what's going on right here. And I think so far that's serving me well. So there you got a little pullback on ES, but it's not like a crazy pullback, not enough to short for me. Let's look at NQ. A little bit of a pullback here, but nothing crazy. I'm still kind of messing around with this overall level here, right? The 16.7 number that I'm watching for the NASDAQ. So who knows? Dow, no. Russell, no. I think we're at some support here for stocks. So I'm curious to see. I think it looks like there could be a little bit of a bounce. And that might be the bounce that could allow us to get short later. See how ultra bonds, see what happens with them, but I made the decision not to short this, follow my first instinct, and if it drops, it drops. But the trades that are really good are the ones that jump out, and there's just no question about them. Okay, gold. Gold's a mess. Yeah, everything's a mess today. Silver's a mess. Copper. Copper's heading lower. Copper's in a nice trend. But no pattern to short. Here's platinum. Crude. Have to go lower for me. Not gas. No. The euro. Yeah, the dollar is just stuck here. Just doesn't know what to do here against the euro. Probably the pound is going to be similar. Yeah, I think I'm not really seeing a lot that I'm super nuts about right now. It's a little bit of a pullback pattern here on the NASDAQ, but like I said, you're kind of at this. We're not really. I'm not convinced yet. It's not a bad trade, just like the bonds are not bad. Value area did shift down here. Yes, heading a little lower. I think stocks will head lower. But I don't know if I want to participate right here just yet. If I was going to take a trade, I like the bonds better than stocks. And the reason I'm not taking stocks short is because bonds are roaring pretty nicely to the upside now, which means rates are backing off a little bit. If rates are backing off, this could stem the drop that we're seeing in the stock market. This is what was going through my head while I'm thinking through all this right now. So this is why I'm not, this is why I'm exercising caution. We've got some divergence here. The NASDAQ might keep dropping, but you see, it's not like we're through this 16,700 level yet with any really convincing move to the downside. We might keep dropping, but this also could hold. And with bonds potentially pushing higher, I think that's why I'm exercising caution right now. It's just yesterday and today, just not a lot of, the good trades, they kind of come in flurries. Right now, there's just not a lot of good setups, and they come and they go. You just got to wait. So you got to be here every day. And we will be here every day. I'm here every day. Yeah. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm getting pretty tired and I need to go to the gym. I'm going to do that. And then when I get back from the gym, if the market is moving and we're breaking down, if something's happening that I see that I might trade for myself, then I might fire up a live stream and, do it with you guys. So keep click your notification bell if you want to be notified if I go live later. And that's going to wrap it up. But thanks for being here, you guys. Nice to meet you, Steven. Ez, have a good one. What else? Oh, if you didn't hit the like button, guys, try and hit it because it helps the stream, and who knows, YouTube can help us grow. That'd be nice. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So take care. We'll do a drawing as soon as what I said is as soon as we get 20 viewers and 20 likes, we'll do a drawing. I'll give away an entire course for Owings market analysis. I don't know if I'm going to sell them publicly, But if I do sell them publicly at some point, you know, it's going to be valued at least $1,500. But again, I don't know. I'm not there yet, but I'm going to give a copy away. So if we can get some people into the stream, we'll raffle it off. That'll be fun, right? So let's try and get more people in the stream, and then we'll do the giveaway. And yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Steven. And nice to meet you. Take care. Hope you enjoyed the stream today. I enjoyed interacting with you, and it's a lot more fun than just sitting here waiting for trades by myself. So, and yeah, I find a lot of value for myself in doing it, which is cool. All right, take care. Bye-bye. I'm going to end the stream.